Hey guys, so the next thing we're going to do is code the losing screen. Now, before I show you the code, I want you guys to kind of think about what kind of code we want to have. How do we want to start it? What makes the most sense for our game? And really try to figure it out on your own to really test yourself to make sure you guys understand how these different screens work and what kind of code you might need. So if you need to, you can go ahead and pause this video, kind of think a little bit, and then play the video and see the code and see how close you were, okay? And also try to understand what pieces you were missing. So the first thing we're going to do is when we start this game, and we're starting it when we click on the green flag, because there's two ways to start. Start with the green flag to start the game, but you also have to click the play button to play the game. So when we click on our green flag, we want to go ahead and go into looks, and we want to go ahead and hide it. The next thing we want to do is we're going to go into our yellow events tab. When we receive game over, because that's when we actually get to actually see it, we're going to go ahead and do a couple of things. We're going to go into looks. We're going to go ahead and add a go to front and a go forward one. We also want to make sure that we add a show. Okay. So now that we're showing it, there's still one more problem. And if you need to, you can pause this video and you can go ahead and try out your game and see what the problem is. If you have not guessed the problem, when you play your game, you lose the animation that we made for the ball to break into different pieces, because the moment you lose, you automatically get this game over screen. So there are two ways that we can go ahead and fix this. And I'm just going to use the simplest way for us for today. So the easiest way is you can go inside of the control and we can add a wait. Now, I'm not going to tell you how much time you want it to wait before it shows up. I want you guys to play around with the time, clicking on the green button, trying to lose and seeing how long it should take before you should be able to have it show. So play around with this wait 1 second until you finally find the perfect time that works for your game. So now, when we play our game and we lose, we get to see the animation, and then we get to also see the game over as well. Now, another thing, if you're not able to see your game over screen, what that means is, if we go to the ball sprite, and we scroll down, this wait 0.5 seconds might be too short before it stops everything, because the moment it stops everything for the game, that causes a problem. Now, you can either play around with this time, or instead what you can do is you can remove this stop all. You can go ahead and delete it. You can come back to the lose screen, and then at the bottom of the show, we'll add the stop all here. So instead of stopping when the ball hits the ground, it'll stop when the actual game over screen happens. And that's another way that you guys can fix that problem. So once you're done coding everything again, make sure you guys test out your game, play around with this 1 second to play around with the time to see how much time you need before you need to show the lose screen, so that the player has enough time to see the losing animation before it appears. Now, another thing that you guys can go ahead and do is, if you look at your win screen, if you remember, we also added a little bit of code to kind of add an animation to it as well. So that it can appear. And if you guys want to do that as well, you guys can also add that into your lose screen so that there's an animation when the lose screen appears. So think about all of that as you guys are making it. And once you're done, we're going to go ahead and move on to the second part of the deep dive lesson.